In this video today, I'm going to break down one of the biggest mistakes that I see young guys who are making money online. Whether these guys are just starting out and they're just trying to make it, trying to make some money to begin with. And it may not just be guys making money online, just young guys in general. There's three pillars of success, in my opinion: health, wealth, and relationships. Those three things. And where people go wrong is they prioritize one of the three way too much. So you've got your three different characters. The first character is the guy who prioritizes relationships too much. He goes out partying all the time. He goes out clubbing all the time. He doesn't think about his wealth. He doesn't think about his health. He becomes, a fat guy who has nothing but some friends, right? He has no purpose in his life. That's character one. Character two is someone who prioritizes his wealth way too much. He focuses on money, but then he doesn't focus on relationships. He may be in good shape, but he's missing the key thing, which is actually having people to share it with, having relationships and having friends, right? And the final one is the guy who has great relationships, maybe is making good money, but is fat as fuck, right? And has no health, right? They have no health, extremely unhealthy. And when you don't have health, you have nothing, right? Health is the top. And in this video, I want to talk about how you need all three. And if you don't have all three, then you're not successful, in my opinion. You have to write in your head, go, what does success look like to me? And for me, and I think for a lot of guys who are probably watching this video, success is great relationships with amazing people and great friends, great friendships. Wealth, i.e. you're making great money, you're successful, you're doing well, you have a purpose, right? You're driving towards something. And three is health. You go to the gym regularly, you're in great shape, you're content with where you're at health-wise, you can stand up for yourself, you're bigger than most people, right? And you can hold your own, right? Those three things, in my opinion, are so important. And the thing that I see the most and the thing that pisses me off the most is the character that I see a lot is the character who focuses on money too much. They put all of their time and attention into money to a point where having money becomes who they are. Money is them. They are money. Right? It becomes part of their identity. But the problem with that is you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the relationships alongside it, that's where you're going to struggle. And that's the character I want to focus on in this video, because I've met a lot of these guys. I've gone and I've been part of networking groups online with guys between the ages of 16 all the way up to 25, 26, 30 years old who are all making money online, all trying new things, all successful on paper. But a lot of these guys, yes, they may have their health dialed in. Yes, they may have their wealth dialed in, but they're lacking on the relationship front, and you need all three. Now, let me give you an example. There's one guy I know who is very young. I'm not going to say exactly how young he is, but he's very young. He's doing extremely well. He's making over 100K per month, right? And he's in his teens. I'll give that away. And I remember speaking with him the other day, and I was asking him some questions. I was getting some advice from him. I don't know him super well. And I thought the conversation was going to be 10 to 15 minutes long. Anyway, the conversation ended up being a lot longer. And I remember saying to him, mate, I don't want to take up too much of your time. You're doing me a favor. But he was loving it because he was enjoying the conversation, right? He was enjoying the relationship that he was building with me and the conversation we were having. And it made me realize that, yes, this guy is doing extremely well financially, but it also made me realize that, shit, this means so much to him. Like him being able to have a conversation with someone, like this clearly doesn't happen very often. And it makes you realize that you need the relationships with it. And even I've seen this with myself where maybe I lock in and I go to monk mode, grind mode for too long. And then I don't spend time with my friends. I don't go out. I don't socialize. It has a massive effect on me. Yeah, I may be making more money, but then I'm losing that relationship side of things as well. And the importance of having all three is so, so important. And it's something that I've realized more recently is that you want to get to a stage where those three things are dialed in. You have a bit of everything and you're at a high level with all three of them. Because if you don't have the relationship side of things, then you can have all the money in the world. But time and time again, we see people, successful people who get to the end of their lives and go, yeah, maybe on paper they had all this money and they had all this success. Businesses were doing really, really well, but they had no one to share it with. The Elon Musks of the world who have been divorced 5 times. It's like, do you really want that? Is that really what you want? And you have to put yourself in that position and go, yeah, you may look up to these guys. You may look up to the Elons of the world and go, oh, I'd love to be Elon Musk. But do you really want that? Because it doesn't just come with the money and the accolades and the success. It comes with everything else, the tarnish to relationships, the tarnish to health, right? And you have to consider that. And in my opinion, if you don't have all three of these things dialed in, then you're not successful. So when I meet guys and I see that they're socially inept, they don't have a good, strong group of friends around them, then I think in my eyes, yeah, you could be making 10 times the amount of money I'm making, but you're not successful in my eyes. I would rather be myself than you. And that's the question I always ask myself. Same again, if I see an entrepreneur who's making extremely good money but is incredibly out of shape, not successful, in my opinion. Whilst the guys who I've met and I've got along with the best are the guys who dial in all three. They have extremely good relationships with great people. They're kind people, right? And they have these really strong relationships. Secondly, they then do care about their health. They go to the gym regularly. They're dialed in. They do marathons. They do fitness events, right? They have a very, very strong routine health wise. And thirdly, they make good money. They're dialed in. They work when they need to work. They're not one of these guys who just goes out partying all the time. Yeah, they may have a social event here and there, of course, but they don't go out all the time. Because again, those guys, they're the other end of the spectrum and you don't want to be them. So the key aim in the balance, and trust me, it's not easy to do, but my aim with what I'm doing and the brand I want to build is I want to have all three of these things dialed in. I want to have extremely good friends and relationships. I want to be making extremely good money. And I also want to be in great shape. And if you can have all of those three things, then in my opinion, that is success. And that's what I think about all the time. And it's hard to do because on paper, it's hard to measure your relationships. When you meet someone and you ask them how much money they're making and they say, yeah, I'm making 50K a month, in your head, okay, yeah, you can see straight away financially these guys are successful. But you can't go up to someone and go, so what are your relationships like? What are your friends like? It's harder because you can't measure relationships. Health, you can measure. You go up and you see someone, you know whether they're fit, you know whether they're healthy. But relationships is something you can't measure, right? And that's the issue, because you going out for a nice dinner with two of your friends, it may feel like you're pulling away from the wealth side. You may feel like, oh, I'm wasting my time. I should be making more money. I should be making more money. But those dinners with your friends and those travels with your friends and doing those social events, they're buying into that relationship side of who you are and the relationship side of success. And the issue is, because money is an observable metric, you can see it. You can see when you pull up your bank account how much money you have. People put a lot more time into that than they do the relationship side of things. And that's where it goes wrong. They lock in, they put all the money, and fair play to these guys, they make extremely good money, but then they don't have that relationship side of things. And a few years down the line go and they're making all this money and they then go, wow, I have no one to share this with. I have no experiences to talk about. What am I going to tell my kids when I'm older? What are the things that I've done? You have to get to a point where the conversation I have with myself a lot is, what do I want to tell my future kids? What do I want to tell them about the relationships I've had? Not only the money that I've made and what I can provide them, but also the relationships, the people I've been around, the places I've gone to, the travels I've had, and the health and the things that I've done there as well. And just realizing you need all three, in my opinion. And if you don't have all three and you're lacking heavily on one of those three pillars, then you're not successful. So it's being able to go, take a step back and go, I need to feed into all three of these pillars, right? And not just the money and not just the health, all three of them. And if you have all of those three things, then I don't see you getting to a point where you're not going to be fulfilled in your life and you're not going to be happy. So, yeah, definitely something to consider and something that's been on my mind a lot at the moment.